How good is Charles Leclerc? How good is Charles Leclerc? Is he better than Hamilton? Is he better than Verstappen? Is he even better than Ocon? I'm just kidding. Before I get myself in trouble. But yeah, how good is he? We're gonna be finding that out right now, apparently. And let's go, man. Let me shut up before I get myself in trouble. What the hell? Starting now.
Is Leclerc as aggressive as Verstappen? We saw some.
Oh no. See, that's a different question. If you ask who is more aggressive, Verstappen ain't nobody aggressive. Verstappen is. I'd probably give him. Who will I give him that I know of? I'd probably give him like a Senna. Like the dude wants it now. Like he wants it as soon as possible. Even like Schumacher as well. From what I've been seeing, like they're driving, like anytime he sees it, he just wants it. Leclerc can like wait. He like because I've seen him like wait a bit, like you know what I mean, not attack immediately. Verstappen, as soon as he sees it, he just full throttle, man. Just goes in and eats. So he's not quite as aggressive as Verstappen. However, he is a goddamn bloody maestro and can overtake at a high level. Just as good as probably Verstappen, you know what I mean? He's just not as aggressive. But let's go.
Very aggressive overtaking from Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen in this weekend's Bahrain Grand Prix. After the race, Leclerc said, "It is hard racing, as we have seen with Max in the past.
Yep.
But I'm also an aggressive driver
That's
in the
what I'm
way
saying.
I fight with others."
Yep.
And this will have been a strong message to Verstappen. So let's look at it from each driver's perspective. By lap 17, Verstappen had caught Leclerc and made a strong move going down the pit straight,
Yep.
helped by the straight line speed of the Red Bull. Leclerc defended pretty heavily, as much as he really could with the wide Bahrain circuit. I think here he would have wanted to keep Max on the inside, off the racing line and in all of that dust and the dirt on the inside of the track. This way, Leclerc had a much better line through turn 1, with cleaner and grippier tyres, and had DRS in the next section of track. He actually said that he wasn't trying to be too late on the brakes going into turn 1, as the DRS detection line was in the braking zone. As we know, this is the line that enables DRS in the next section of track if a driver is behind another when crossing it. So Leclerc was being pretty clever here, actually going on to say, "I expected it," the overtaking means, and actually I wanted it, because I knew that if he wasn't overtaking me there, he would be overtaking me on the run up to turn 4
Yep.
with DRS. So I was on purpose braking very early into turn 1 to be just behind in the DRS detection and to get it on the run to turn 4 to get him back. It always worked out. And that's very intelligent from Leclerc, and something that he would have studied before the race and when looking at how Verstappen had approached races in the past. Before a race, it's really important for drivers to think through different scenarios.
Yes, sir.
Especially when there are DRS detection and activation points involved, as it can actually be relatively simple to overtake someone with these areas of track. By the way, if you want to stay up to date with everything that's going on in Formula 1, join our new F1 newsletter. Link in the description below. Anyway, on to the most important part of this wheel-to-wheel racing.
Yes, sir.
The very 10th of a second that Leclerc was past Verstappen going down into turn 4, he drove across the front of him and got on the brakes. And when I watched this live, it actually made me wince a little bit and also smile at the same time. In my opinion, this was more than just a good, aggressive move on the brakes. Driving across the front of Verstappen in that way signals to him that Leclerc is going to be very calculated and very aggressive.
Yeah.
This was a bit of a grey move, actually, right on the edge of being legal, and actually, as we've seen many times from Verstappen himself. And these decisions on how you race with another driver aren't completely made in the moment. Leclerc would have already thought about how he wants to interact with Verstappen in wheel-to-wheel combat. Compare this to Lewis, who last year took a slightly different approach. But Leclerc is going in hard, which is going to be really interesting to watch. In fact, when asked about the racing, Leclerc said, "It's not a problem for me. It's a type of racing I like. It is hard, as we've seen with Max in the past. But I'm also an aggressive driver in the way I fight with others. I enjoy racing hard like this, but fair racing. So I don't think there was anything wrong in all of those overtakes. I also love this type of racing. There was no contact, Both drivers were pushing incredibly hard. This is what racing is all about. And so back to the race. The following lap, pretty much the same thing happened, although Leclerc's re-overtake was a bit easier. It seemed he had things under control.
Yep.
The next lap, going into turn 1, there was a big lunge from Verstappen, coming from probably over 50 metres, and he locked the front right.
Talk about nuts!
In the process. Leclerc then made an easy re-overtake, cutting back underneath Verstappen. From this point,
Talk
the battle was
about
pretty much done.
nuts!
So then
That
we
dude is
moved
nuts!
on to the safety car period at the end of the race. And in particular, the restart. Leclerc referred to watching Max in previous races, saying, for the restart, looking at last year's race, I think it's something that Max also is doing quite often, to just be as close as possible and sometimes alongside the driver that is restarting first. I just tried to do the best restart possible, and I know the position he was in at that moment. It was the right moment for me to do the restart, and it worked out. And this was a bit of a strange decision from Max, being on the inside of the tight final corner, meant that his racing line was really restricted. The corner was essentially tighter, meaning he couldn't carry as much speed nor get on the throttle as early, and that's really important when heading into a long straight. Therefore, Leclerc simply drove away from Verstappen.
I feel like he planned it
And then, in fact, Verstappen was under massive pressure from Carlos Sainz, who managed to get alongside him, but not past. I'm not exactly sure why Verstappen made that decision. Perhaps he was being distracted by the impending mechanical issue.
Maybe Leclerc planned
We're going
it.
to talk about in our next.
Maybe.
Thanks again to CyberGhost VPN. Go check out the link.
That is the end of the video. Maybe Leclerc planned that low, because Verstappen loves to stay right beside the driver, but coming into the corner, maybe he just planned it a little. Maybe he planned it a little, like to like just like make sure that he's coming into the inner part of the corner, so it's gonna be hard for him to, like, you know what I'm saying, accelerate or do whatever goes on there. But yeah. Seems to be what I thought. Leclerc is a little bit more methodical. He's a little bit more calculated. He's thinking 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 steps ahead. You can go ahead and do your thing now, but I'm coming for you later. Yeah. This is what I love to see. Two drivers with two different type of mindset. Max wants it now and wants it now. Like I'm saying, he wants it now, and he will pretty much do whatever he can to get it now. You know what I mean? And Leclerc just 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 steps ahead. You know what I'm saying? Just thinking in that sense. So it's gonna be fun to see what's going on, man. It's gonna be fun to see what's going to happen. But other than that, man, hopefully you enjoyed it. This didn't really, how good is Leclerc in, is it relative to Max? I thought it was gonna be how good is Leclerc in the grand scheme of things, you know what I mean, compared to all the greats. But they just seemed to compare him to Max and didn't really give a conclusion to how good he was compared to Max. Just saying, oh yeah, he's aggressive, fine, you know what I mean? But yeah, anyways, we had fun with this video though. Let's not get that twisted. And if you enjoyed the video like I did, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.